this piece. And we are back. A lot of stuff is going on. Woo! Heated debate. Heated debate on the Demetra K show. For those guys that don't know, uh, do yourself a favor. Tune in to the Demetra K show Sundays, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's California time for those guys that aren't paying attention. And wow, we had a really, really good debate today. A lot of topics on there. You can check her out on YouTube, the African Diaspora News Channel as well. She drops really great dimes. As a matter of fact, she did a quick 6-minute piece on exactly what I'm going to be talking about right now. And it has to do with the Chicago budget. The Chicago budget has been proposed, hasn't been adopted yet. It's been proposed. And Mayor Brandon Johnson has said, after giving millions and millions of dollars to the migrant workers, Brandon Johnson has told Black people, you're the first person we're thinking about. You are the first person. Gunshots. We got gunshots out here. You're the first person we are thinking about. Chirac. Gunshots everywhere. You're the first persons we're thinking about. He has highlighted that he has put $500,000 up in regards to Black people and a reparation study. $500,000, a reparation study. That's what Black people get out of this new budget. But millions upon millions for illegal migrants. Black people get a $500,000 reparations study, which basically means you get nothing. The Democrats are so desperate that they're trying to see if the Negroes of Chicago will fall for this again. Oh, at least you're doing something, something better than nothing. And I've been watching the meetings up there. And the sad thing is, the problem in Chicago is the older generation, the baby boomer generation. You've got the city girl mayor up there, and I'm not saying, where I live is any better, but, I live in basically Mexico, Southern California. I live in Mexico. We've been dealing with migrant problems for 40, 50 years, most of my adult life. I know that for a fact. And he's going to do a reparation study. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you were out there in Chicago, how do you guys feel about that? This is the best that this man could come up and throw you crumbs. They're bringing migrants and putting them up in hotels. They're solving their homeless issue. But you've got people that have been in the community for 20 or 30 years, can't find housing, can't find food. There's just absolutely nothing for Black people. And Brandon Johnson, a Black man who's basically from the so-called neighborhood, he prioritized you guys by giving you guys a study. Now, once upon a time, that would have worked. But Black people are waking up. And I'm going to tell you people, I am so proud that you guys aren't falling for the okie doke. Because let's face it, these resources that are out here are not infinite. These are not infinite resources. Black people are being replaced. And it's just a damn shame. It's a damn shame. And the older generation is doing nothing but hindering the problem. They won't get out of the way. They are basically jealous because they're older now. They aren't going to the clubs. They aren't enjoying all the interracial sex that, younger people can enjoy compared to when they were coming up. I mean, these people are basically the problem. Maxine Waters is still in office. You guys are going to see December 9th is the election down in Houston, and Sheila Jackson Lee, she is going to be running in a runoff. And you're going to see the tides change in the political waters as people are fed up for voting for a Democratic Party that gives them nothing, absolutely nothing. We keep voting and nothing happens. Everybody else benefits but us. So people ask me, they go, Donovan, well, you're always complaining, you're always hollering until, what's the solution? We don't hear solutions with you. Well, number one, the solution is we need term limits. Number one solution is we need term limits. If the president of the United States can have term limits, congressional people should have term limits. How many of you guys remember when I put out the congressional record of John Lewis and a lot of these CBC members that have been there for years, and I showed you guys with your own eyes the congressional record of these people doing absolutely nothing for Black people? A lot of you guys were not aware of that because you go with the sound bites. If you don't see them on TV talking about I'm reclaiming my time and doing the stupidest stuff that we fall for, it's ridiculous. Now, we just had a conversation on the Demetra K show in regards to P. Diddy and his legal problems in Cassie. And once again, I pointed out how men see it one way and women see it another way. And it is so sad that white supremacy and the Democratic Party, which upholds white supremacy, has basically put a wedge between Black men and Black women. Black men should be doing this. Black women should be doing that. Blah, 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 blah. And guess what gets done? Absolutely nothing. And the Black people continue to be a permanent underclass. What I'm trying to get you guys to understand today, in this earth, in this reality, some of you guys are comic book people now, you've been watching all the Marvels and the DC stuff. On this earth, there's a thing called parallel earths. On this earth that we live on, Black people are a permanent underclass. It is no longer in a few years. It is no longer, well, in the future. It's here now. And I know people don't want to hear this, especially Black women. Black women are the most delusional women on the planet because they refuse to see what it is that is right in front of them. They love to tell themselves all of these things that make themselves feel good, which also goes to show you that the Black women have a image problem and or a confidence problem or a God, it's escaping me the word. The they have to delude themselves by talking themselves up, even though they know it's not true, right? Emotional. They're very emotional, and that's just women in general. And I know women don't want to hear this, and this ain't a bashing session on women. It isn't, because this goes back to the Brandon Johnson situation. A lot of the people that are now speaking out in regards to Brandon Johnson's tenure as mayor are the very women that overwhelmingly supported him. They supported him. I know Brandon Johnson. He's from my neighborhood. He's been here 30 years. He's a good teacher. He does this. But they did not vet him. And now they are talking against him, talking about we made a mistake. But is that mistake fatal? So I put out the challenge to Black people. Are you going to sit out there and make a mistake and fight your own kind when you should be fighting white supremacy and looking at the big picture? Black women love to tell themselves, ooh, Black girl magic. Ooh, Black women are the backbone of the Democratic Party. Ooh, Black women are this and they're all that. Not realizing what they're saying is total idiocy. It's total idiocy. If Black women are the backbone of the Democratic Party, look at what you're using as an analogy to how powerful you are. If you are the backbone of the Democratic Party, which is a party that was formed and supports the Ku Klux Klan even until this very day, so you're saying that you are the support of white supremacy that murders black people through the institution of the police departments throughout the nation that murder your children and incarcerate your children. That's the lunacy of the whole thing. Black women are the most educated. That's a lie. Black women are the most enrolled. They're not the most educated. And even if that was true, 70% of women get degrees in the liberal arts. So basically, what I'm saying is you're getting a know-nothing degree. It's not going to feed you. I know you guys hate to hear this, but it's the truth. One of the major problems in Chicago and in New York and all of these big cities is you have black girl men, Baltimore, let me name them off for you, Atlanta, and all these places that are now becoming problems is because you've had women that voted with their emotions. They didn't vet any of these candidates. And now you are shocked that resources are being taken from your community and given to illegals and other communities to displace your children. Now you're worried about it. Now you're worried about it. Brandon Johnson could give millions of resources and housing and all this other stuff to illegal migrants, but can't solve homelessness in the city of Chicago. Hey, I'm a compassionate guy. I believe in compassion. I believe in a redemption, but I also believe in taking care of home first. You cannot take care of illegal people who broke our laws, and we've got tax-paying American citizens born in this country sleeping on the streets of our major metropolitan cities. California, Southern California, there is almost no black people here because they've been gentrified. What's happening in Chicago and in New York is a form of gentrification. They are displacing the black people to move in a buffer class of people that will work at a cheaper rate than what black people are barely getting as it is. But we're the ones that open the doors for these people. So let me get back to what I was talking about. And what I was talking about was the fact that it is no longer something in the far distance. Black permanent underclass is a fact now. It is here. We can no longer talk about, well, we're not there yet in a couple of years in 2032. No, it's here. It's here now. Please refute my numbers. According to the census, we are 14% of the population. But those of you guys that are smart enough and know that's not true. Because if for that to be true, that would mean the United States is doing a direct genocide against black people. We've been about 14% of the population since the 1960s. So it cannot be true. The reason why they keep that number like that is to reduce the use of resources. If your numbers don't change, your use of resources don't increase. I was born in 1970, and when I was born in the 70s, the Asian population was about 3%, and they were flying the Vietnamese in after the fall of Saigon. The Asian population is about 8%. So you're talking in a 30 to 40 year span, Asians have increased their numbers by 5%. And as we know, they got an Asian crime bill in the first try, and they are the wealthiest group in the United States. We know that as a fact. So if black people have been about 13 to 14% of the population for at least 60 years, and I'm just going to go with the 60 years just to be nice, then you have to admit there has been a systematic genocide against black people. We talk about the illegal migrants. We talk about the Venezuelans, illegal Venezuelans. Why isn't anybody talking about the Ukrainians, 250,000 of them that were flown here to the United States and were given monies through the Social Security that you put into? We can't take from Social Security early, but Ukrainians can. Why isn't anybody talking about that? Why aren't we talking about that? But we can talk about P. Diddy and Cassie and the NBA and the NFL and all this other stuff. But we're not talking about stuff that is really important and potent to Black people as we try and fight to survive. We know the numbers are not 13%. Black people have to be at least in this country 25 to 23, between 23 and 25% of the country. But yet, in California alone, 50% of the homeless is Black. 50% of the homeless no, I'm sorry. Yeah, I think it's about 60%. 60% of the homeless in California is Black. 50% of the homeless across the United States is Black. And most of that are Black women and children. Explain that. Make those numbers make sense, because they don't. If we're 12% of the population, how are we 50% of the homeless across the nation? But that goes back to what I was telling people. If you look at our numbers as a group, as a people, 30% of us are making it. And we're doing okay. That's why you got the P. Diddy's, you got the Boulets, and you got the Sororos and the fraternity brothers that take care of each other and lick each other's asses and all that other bullshit, right? You've got those people. So we'll give those numbers. 30%, a third of Black people are doing fine. The majority of us are not making it. But we love to tell ourselves we are. I was in the chat in the Dimitri K show, and I was talking to a lady that was totally delusional. She was totally delusional. Black people financially are totally irresponsible with our finances. Some of the reasons why we are because the father has been displaced in the home by the Democratic Party. Black ladies, I know you don't want to hear this, but the equal rights fight is not your fight. And somebody's got to tell you that. That's the white woman's fight. The white woman did not leave her man. Even if you are a feminist, feminism is detriment to your own existence. And you're too stupid to see it. You're too stupid to see it. Black women are the first to tell you, well, we got to, get with the Democratic Party and we got to do this. And, Kamala Harris and women are doing this and girl power. Well, what the hell is girl power doing for Black people as we are suffering in the most extreme cases of financial genocide in this country under a Democratic regime? Overwhelmingly, Black women voted in a Dixiecrat that was the author and a proud author of the crime bill that is incarcerating their children. Make it make sense. Joe Biden. What is the fastest growing number or group of people being incarcerated in the United States right now? It's Black women. And why are these women being incarcerated? It's no different than what a lot of the men were being incarcerated. Just stupid, silly shit. You've got women now that are out here prostituting themselves in the sex work. Sex work. I don't care how you look at it. OnlyFans. If you're out there in the strip club, if you're out there walking the blade, it is all sex work. All of it. And if you got time to do that, who is raising your children? They're trying to normalize all of this through the Democratic Party. Show me where the Democratic Party is preaching family values. And then we wonder why our children are out of control. Ladies, you don't want to hear this, but it's a fact. You guys love Pookie, Ray Ray, and Nook Nook, and you're so unrealistic in your expectations of a black man in this country. The average median monetary amount a black man makes in this country is $43,000. And that's if he has a decent job. But you look at these shows that sexualize black women and make black women look uncooperative and vicious, this basketball wives bullshit and this Atlanta housewives and all this stuff. And it indoctrinates the mind of the less challenged. And you guys listen to these bitter, older black women that are competing with you for the small amount of men that halfway got their shit together. Because they want you to be as miserable in life as they are. It's just a fact. I can tell you guys right now, my mom has 8 sisters. 8 sisters. My mom is the only one that married the father of her children. So this isn't something new or some kind of new phenomenon. The feminist movement and the Democratic Party is working hand in hand to destroy the black family and the black race. And they've completed part 1 by putting us in a financial situation till we are now a permanent underclass. That is part 1. And when you're a financial permanent underclass and you are fighting for scraps with other groups and that the Democratic Party prioritizes over you, what do? You go into survival mode. You're in survival mode at this point. Doing whatever it is you got to do. If you got to sell your body, you're going to do that. If you got to take pictures and compromise yourself as a woman, you got to do that. If your sons go out there and commit crimes and luckily, hopefully get away with it, you got to do that. Single black women are being evicted at a higher rate than women that have a partner or a husband. That's a fact. But these women are so delusional in their minds that they don't know what they just can't see it. Ineffective congressional leadership. Ooh, Aunt Maxine. Ooh, Kamala Harris. Symbolism. Kamala Harris told you in your face, I'm not going to do nothing just specifically for black people. No, I'm not going to. No. Let's be clear. No, I'm not going to do that. No, she told you that. Oh, we're going to get Ketanji Brown in there. Woman that's married to a white man. Yeah, she's going to do a lot to help you in your current situation. What is the Democratic Party doing for these black mothers to get them out of their situation? Joe Biden lowered the investigation that you have to report $600 in any transaction in your cash money, cash app, of things of that nature. PPP loans, he extended the prosecution for over 10 years, and he might even extend it after that. Student loan debt, the Democratic Party hasn't done one thing in regards to what they promised you if you voted for them. Ladies, you voted for this man at a 98% rate to get nothing out of the deal. But everything's a black man's fault. Your lack of cooperation in the community and for the preservation of the community, that's a black man's fault. And I don't absolve black men. I'm a black man myself. And I'm a victim of the system, the child support system. And guess what? The sad thing is, the mother of my oldest son now reaps what she sowed. It was all good and gravy when you're getting all the money, spending it, buying this, buying that, having a good old time with the money. But guess what, ladies? Eventually, that money comes to an end. Then what? My son's oldest mother they ended up foreclosing on her home, and she had to move into an apartment. And this chick had the nerve to take me back to court to try to extend the child support agreement that we had that said I was to support the child till 18, as if I'm stupid enough to want to alter it. Absolutely not. And when you're a man of integrity and you're taking care of your responsibilities, fellas, go ahead and pay that child support. Pay it faithfully. Because guess what? You're going to be so used to not having that money that when the time does come and it's over and that money comes, it I never thought of that money because I had never seen it. It was taken out of my check. Never seen it. I would call my bank. I say, hey, something's wrong. I look at my statement. Something's wrong. Something's wrong. There's money here, and I don't want to be penalized for it, and I don't want to use it or anything like that. Come to find out, it was money from my child support that I now get. So, fellas, pay that child support. But 70% of black people, and I'm going to keep telling you guys this, aren't doing well. Only a third of us are doing well. Only a third of us are doing well, people. A third of us. 70% of us are below the poverty line, at the poverty line, or just above it. Everything has gone up under the Democratic regime. It's not looking good. It's not looking good for black people at all. Old Fido is looking pretty tasty when you want some meat in your top ramen. Thank God the government is still giving you SNAP or TANF or whatever they call it, food stamps. But what are you going to do when they say enough of that? They're not doing that either. Fellas, make better choices. Get with your women because financially, they do not know what they are doing. A lot of women make really good money. The women that know. But let's be real, ladies. $400 weaves, $100 nails that you have to have, but you got a car payment that you still have. You've got rent or a mortgage that is due, but you rather take your money and get $400 a hairstyle and $100 weaves every 3 weeks. And then your sons have to get their hair done, just like your daughter had to get her hair done. Just ridiculous stuff. Your kids got to have Jordans, $200, $300 shoes, name brand stuff. And then you wonder why the fuck you're getting evicted. You wonder why you're getting evicted. I've gone to some of my lady friends' homes that are more modern than mine. My house was built in 1980. Older house, but it's real wood, right? The construction codes changed in 1980s. I go to some of these people's houses and it's almost like a bum site. They have almost no furniture in their house. They got an old couch that the kids jump on and do all this other stuff. I mean, it's terrible. And then the kids are messing up the walls, and they got an upstairs, downstairs, and they got clothes over here, and it's almost like just it's almost like it's a rental in general, or what do you call that when the government voucher? It's like a voucher home or something, and they're just tearing it up because they can. They don't food all over the place. And I'm looking at these people like these are the women that keep talking about black girl magic. Delusion. They love delusion. They love telling themselves this because they have low self. That was the word I was looking for earlier. Low self-esteem. Low self-esteem. You want to know why they have low self-esteem? Because they come from abject poverty and they have nothing. They were taught nothing. Daddy's not in their life. Mom has been running down dad. It is so sad. The black people, we got to get it together. We've got to get it together because at the end of the day, we need each other. It's just going to be a matter of time before they round us up. And people say, well, Donovan, you're doing fine. You know, why should you care? You want to know why I care? I'll tell you why I care. How long do you think it's going to take white supremacy to round up the 30% that is doing well when they've disposed of the 70%? It won't take long at all. We are better together. And we need to get the roles straightened out. Men are the leaders. In no other culture are men disrespected and feminized than more so in the black community. Women are the nurturers and the heartbeat of the community. Let's get the roles straight, ladies. We don't get in line behind you. You get in line behind us when it comes to the community. And stop pointing fingers about, well, where are the black men at? Stop supporting the Democratic Party and start supporting black. You're part of the problem, ladies, because you're supporting the Democratic Party. All you Negroes that keep giving your vote to this Democratic Party, it is the party that is destroying your community. If I'm lying, point it out where I'm lying, where you see the Democratic Party giving you the right, but you call yourself Christians. You giving yourself the right to kill your own children. Show me where that makes sense. You're out there having sex and doing what it is you want to do, and you don't want to deal with the consequences. If we are 13% of the population, then we better do some humping. We better start making some babies responsibly. But the Democratic Party wants to give you the right to kill your own children. I cannot tell you guys how many women I have dated and have come across that are psychologically messed up because sometime in their younger life, they had got an abortion. I can't tell you how many times women I've come across, psychologically, they are now damaged from that experience. Or the thought that that child could be a grown person right now if they had just stuck with it. The thought that they're going to have to meet their maker one day and explain to God how and why they killed their own children. I'm a military man. And if I've killed people, not saying that I'm going to get a pass because I don't know what God's going to do. Because in the Ten Commandments, it says, thou shalt not kill. But also in the Old Testament, God sent Israel to destroy other groups because he said so. So I don't know how I'm going to do that. But I won't have to answer for killing my own, especially if given a choice. I've run across a lot of women in our community that have they need therapy. They need therapy and they have remorse and grief, which also fuels their anger against men in our community Maybe that guy that was the father. And you got these feminized men that have a woman's mindset that will tell the woman, get rid of the baby. And we've got these fathers that might even still be in life, giving these women the wrong information, not prioritizing them to be covered by a man and to get a husband. Yeah, you can go to college, but also prioritize finding a mate so you can have cover, because old dad is not the young thundercat he used to be. We got to get it together, people, at the end of the day. Brandon Johnson. Brandon Johnson said he is going to do a study for Black people. He won't solve the homelessness issue in Chicago. Almost 1 million vets homeless in the United States. A national disgrace. A national disgrace. He won't say, you know what? I've got $5 million, Black people of Chicago. If you are a descendant of a slave in the United States, well, you got a check coming. No, he won't do that. He's going to give a study to people that he selects to put on the board to put money in their pocket. That's what he's going to do. The people that are going to publish the report, he puts money in their pocket. But your community will continue to suffer and go through what it's going through. It is so sad. But hey, you guys, my name is Donovan Sadiq. You guys are listening to Rehab Radio. I am the recovering Democrat. Thank you guys for listening, and thank you guys for listening to my rant. Don't forget to check me out on the Demetra K Show. I'm a contributing producer there, 3 p.m. every Sunday at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. You can also check out Demetra K. She is on Facebook, Instagram, all that other good stuff. She's also on the African Diaspora News channel, which you can find on YouTube. The Brother Phil Scott Show and podcast, you can check that out. Vicki Dillard, they're all there. And here's the thing I want you guys to remember. I know you guys are sitting there thinking, oh, they ain't listening to you guys. They're just not listening. Yeah, they are. Yes, they are. The Democrats are in trouble. And the more and more that you guys share these podcasts and share these videos and share these ideas, we are starting to wake up, and I'm glad. It may be too late to keep us from being the bottom class, but maybe not if we elect qualified and right people that aren't going to sell us out for a few Democratic coins. Vote your interests, not the color. Just because somebody looks like you doesn't mean they're for you. And we found that out in the last 60 years. The problem with the civil rights generation is they stopped fighting the civil rights generation when they got what they wanted. Nobody benefited more from the civil rights agenda than the people who fought it. So now this is our fight. And we have to fight it. If you want to be free of the Democratic shackle, then you need to fight and get involved. And how do you get involved? You first start at your city council meetings. Go to your city council meetings. There was a town up in Wisconsin or someplace up north. They booted out the whole board because the whole board was selling the town out to China, a China company. And they got rid of all of them because the people did not want it. People are waking up all around the country. For us to save ourselves, we need to come together and stop with the bullshit, ladies. Get behind Black men's leadership and stop talking about the Ray Ray and Pookie. We are not talking about Ray Ray and Pookie being leaders when it comes to serious things that we need in the Black community. We're not talking about those men. But that's the deflection. They love deflecting because they don't know any better. The anger of Black women. They group us all together. And Black men do it too. We group all the women together. We got to stop that. And we got to start pointing out the ones that will get the job done. Maxine Waters ain't getting the job. Sheila Jackson Lee ain't getting the job done. wait until that election in Houston when those people who she has supposedly served for 28 years, now she wants to, in Congress, now she wants to run for mayor. She should get that in a landslide. But watch, because people are tired and she has nothing to show for all that time in Congress but the wealth of her family. Hey, you guys, we have an app we want you guys to join. Please come out and download it. It's on Apple Store and Google Play. It's the African Diaspora News Channel app. With that app, you will get information in regards to great videos, great knowledge that you guys constantly get on YouTube. But in addition to that, we can talk about issues without being censored, and we can talk about it in the way we want to talk about it and how we talk about it, without worried about people's feelings, without worried about being politically correct. You can say what you want to say and how you want to say it. It's an app that's on Google Play, Apple Store. We are pushing that really good because the revolution, you guys, will not be televised. We will not televise the revolution. You got to save ourselves, you guys. This is where we're at. The Democratic Party ain't going to save us. The Republican Party ain't going to save us. Donald Trump is not going to save us. We have to save ourselves at this point. There's no other way. Black women, we need you. We need you to nurture and educate our children. This is not a competition. It's not. Listen to what men are telling you, and men, listen to what women are saying. Unfortunately, ladies, especially if you're a lady of faith, God put a certain role for each of us to play. Now, I'm a man of faith, and who am I to change what God put in? As a man, I have to take a shit life because I was born a man. I must work. I must be responsible. I must do this. I must do that. I must do that. That's the uniform I wear. We expect you to wear your uniform. And because you are not wearing your uniform, you're trying to wear our uniform, you are stressing yourself out. Our children are suffering, and so on, so forth. I don't have to tell you, intelligent listeners, what you already know. At the end of the day, we need each other. Let's stop the bullshit, because it may be too late. We are now a permanent underclass. And I'll be damned with the 30% group that I'm in, that white supremacy is going to take me over in littler time than it would to take all of us. Let's get it together, you guys. Stop justifying every little damn thing. Older women, stop competing with the younger women. Stop it. Stop giving them bad advice because you ain't got no man and you're sitting up there mad and pissed off. Stop it. Let these people, young people, live their lives and go through what they need to do. Give them a little source of happiness. My mother always used to tell me, if what she did as a parent was not up to my standard or what I think it should be, then I'd be a better parent for my children. And that's what I think I've done. We have to be better to each other as Black people. It's up to you guys at this point. The young people don't see much of the future because we, the older generation, has been very, very irresponsible. Financially, all of that, how we plan them, how we raise them. How the hell are you, in Section 8 homes, but your kids wear name brand clothes? That doesn't make any sense. So a lot of this is our fault. Let's get it together, people. I'm Donovan Sadiq, the recovering Democrat. Rehab Radio. See you next week.